So, it is the end of the third period. Yes, you heard that right. The third period. Now, I unfortunately missed the first two periods of this game because I had to work, because I have a job. Unfortunately, that is a little bit of a bummer for me. So, that sucks. But the good news is this recap video is going to be quite short because I've only really got one period to talk about. So, we're going into the third. Obviously, I know the score. It is 4-2 for Edmonton. That's where we're starting. And the third period kind of starts off a little weird because three different players for Edmonton proceed to fall on the ice in around the same spot, all with the puck. Probably just a coincidence, but I kind of find that a little interesting. Mostly because the third time it caused a turnover, which then led to a Florida goal. So that third person that fell down, I'm not 100% sure who that third one that fell down was, but there was the third one that fell down. That caused a turnover, which then caused Florida to be able to rush back the other way across the ice from their side all the way over to the Edmonton zone, which then gets the opportunity for Kachuk, who is behind the net. I'm struggling with my words right now. I'm sorry. Kachuk, who is behind the net, has the puck. He's moving around and everything. He looks up. Eyes are up nice and high. He sees Oliver Ekman-Larsson come streaking in from the point, feeds it directly to him, and then tape to back of the net. And it is all of a sudden a 1-goal game. Just like that. Just like that. And we are probably about 5.5, 6 minutes into this period. So there's still a lot of time left for Florida to come back and at least push overtime, right? Then we go through a little bit of time, and we have a 1-for-1 penalty, which is very interesting. So Holloway goes into the box for hooking, and Kachuk goes into the box for a dive. Basically embellishment. Now, in all of my time, at least all of this season and postseason, I don't ever recall once seeing a penalty be called for diving, other than now. Now, obviously, we've all seen people dive in many games across the course of the season. We've all seen it happen. But I don't think I'm pretty sure all of the things that most people are saying are dives were not called dives. And then we get this one called here, and we're like, wow, that's very interesting. I just think that's a little bit of a fun fact. I kind of made that lead into potentially sounding controversial, but it's not. I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, so other than a minimal 2-on-1 rush for the Oilers. Was it 2-on-1? Technically, but I feel like it was more of a 2-on-2 because there were two Florida guys that were there. But other than that, for the Oilers and not scoring on it, it was a very evenly matched 4-on-4. And I will say that entire period felt very evenly matched, offensively and defensively. I don't know what the rest of the game was like. I don't know what period 1 and period 2 were like. But at least in the third period, it felt very even, both offensively and defensively. So if it was like that for the whole game, which I don't think it was, it doesn't exactly seem like it was based off of the score going into the third. But still, it did feel pretty even. And then Edmonton gets a power play. Kulikov goes to the box for tripping. Nothing comes from it. Again, it felt very evenly matched. Florida's defensive play on that penalty kill looked great. And yeah, that was pretty much that. Now Bobrovsky gets pulled with 2.5 minutes left. And this is a very close game. Again, it felt very close. It felt like anything could happen at any moment, just based off of how even everything was playing. And I had to sit there and I had to ask myself, are the Panthers actually going to push overtime? Or will the Edmonton Oilers drag Florida back up to Alberta? And the answer is we're going back to Alberta, guys. We're going to game 6. Off of okay, so during that empty net, there was one they hit the post on an empty net, almost scored, and didn't score. That was an insane save. And then same thing again. The puck is drifting towards the empty net. Tkachuk literally goes flying into the net to stop it so that they could at least have another chance. But McDavid was right there, scores on the empty net, makes it 5-3 to end the game. And that was the insanity of the ending of that game. Like, based off the third period alone, which is all I got to watch, both teams felt very even. This did not feel like the beginning of this series where it just felt like Florida was taking over. It feels like this series between both of these teams is evening up, and it's like we are actually going to have a series here. And it low key right now kind of feels like Edmonton could very well push Florida to a game 7. Now, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We have 3 days. We have 2 days in between, and then game 6 is on Friday. So anything can happen between now and then, and also at game 6. But it is crazy to me to be sitting here and saying, we are pushing a game 6. Thinking back at what games 1 and 2, and even game 3 looked like at the start, not towards the end. Towards the end, it kind of felt like Edmonton was figuring stuff out. Like, we're looking at a completely different Florida Panthers. Florida was dominating Edmonton in those first 2.5 games, 2 and 3/4 of games, and now we're looking at like Edmonton coming back and potentially making a splash here. So, yeah. Again, my original prediction for the finals was Florida in 6. I still think that that's going to happen. I still think that Florida is going to win. It's going to be really awkward if they win in Alberta, because it's Canada, and we all know what happens when an American team wins in Canada, because Canadians are insane when it comes to hockey. Coming from a Canadian. But yeah, I am really excited to see what Game 6 is going to bring. I'm really, really excited to see what Game 6 is going to bring. So, we'll just have to wait and see, really. We will just have to wait and see exactly what happens at Game 6. Yeah. Anyway, we got a couple days till then, so buckle in, buckle up. It's going to be a crazy time.